Haas. I'm from Johnston. And when I read the ordinance, I saw it on Bike Iowa, and I saw some of the other websites, and really brought thought to me, because in Johnston we have a bike to work and obviously bike to school went along with it. And I think there's like 650 kids that actually rode to school in Johnston. It's pretty amazing. My kids got motivated by that, and we called some neighbor kids, and we had 8 of us that were riding to school for a couple weeks. And I thought about that. I said, gee, I'm only about 2 kids away from being an outlaw if I lived in Dallas Center or out in this area. And that's what really struck home to me. It's like I want to see biking be promoted as a form of transportation. And again, as people said, if kids want to go out and ride, if they want to get a bunch of kids together, and teachers in schools have pictures where kids have been riding to school, and that's something neat. And if you get more than 10 people together, it's why I read this ordinance. That would be a problem if we did that, and I'd like to see that not happen. I'd like to see children in Dallas County as well as throughout the state be able to ride their bikes and to school and not have that problem. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the board? Your last chance. Guess we can have a motion to either close the public hearing, continue the public hearing.
Any more discussion in public hearing? Ask some questions, Deb?
I'm waiting for a motion.
If we go out of public hearing, then we would be deliberating and trying to find a decision.
Or you can continue the public hearing to a later date, and we can go ahead and ask the questions you want to ask. That would be part of deliberation.
Well, I would be in favor of continuing the hearing process. We still have time today to have some discussion.
Yeah, I mean, we're after the public hearing, then it would be staff and board discussion.
Without citizen input or any,
About a decision.
I know a lot of people that said they were from out of
Would you please step
Dallas
up to
County.
this podium if you'd like to speak, please?
My name is Kristen Blair. I live at 2662 T Avenue in Dallas Center, and I know that a lot of people that came up here and spoke are Dallas County citizens, but some of us that are sitting out here are. And I feel as taxpayers we should be able to be involved in the decision that's going to affect what's going to happen for the roads that we pay for. So I think it should be something that you should answer the questions that we pose before you go off and talk amongst yourselves, so we have a chance to hear what your response is and maybe come back and say something else.
No, first off, we can't go out and take it upon ourselves. We have to do it in public meeting.
Okay, well, it sounds like you guys are going to discuss it later on this afternoon or something.
Kristen, we appreciate your being here, and I personally appreciate all the bikers for being here. The question that's before us in an ordinance is, there's always a first reading of an ordinance, and then there's a second reading of an ordinance, and a third reading of an ordinance. So even if we were to pass the ordinance as written right now today, it wouldn't become law. There would have to be a posted second reading and a posted third reading. The question that Mr. Goetley was raising is the public hearing portion of it, whether or not to keep the public hearing open, maybe even keep the public hearing open until a second hearing might come with some changes to the language. And so I think Mr. Goetley's desire, at least for this morning, I don't know beyond that, but some desire to have this dialogue go on as we talk about. So at least for today, I think we want to keep it open.
Yeah, I believe even the first reading can be held open at the time, developing the ordinance. So that's what I'm asking.
don't have to take action on the first reading at this time, if we choose not to.
So we've got some time for some discussion with anyone that wants to discuss it with us. Is that what you're moving?
Well, I'm not moving anything. I have a question.
All right.
Hearing.
Ask it.
And this goes through, and pardon my ignorance maybe, but to the insurance folks, when we're talking about liability concerns, you know, who pays if there's an event and somebody wants to sue? And if I'm a bicyclist and I cause an accident on the road, you know, who pays, or do I have insurance that covers that? Is that part of my homeowners, or do I have to have a policy like I do for my automobile?
My name is Josh Luikins. Address is 1502 28th Street, Des Moines, Iowa. Previous resident, 2728 Cantaloupe Run, Adel, Iowa. I am a former event, well, still can be, an event promoter. I've had a bicycle race out here in Adel on several occasions. What I think you're asking, the insurance that we have had to hold through the sanctioning body of the bicycle races, we're required to have insurance. And should there be an accident on the course, that covers the rider and us for negligent purposes, whether it be we didn't put a hay bale on a fire hydrant to protect a rider from impact or something like that. Beyond that, being a road surface or something of that nature that's completely out of our control, I think that would be not covered under that policy. So that.
All right, that didn't answer my question. My question, we were talking about, you know, the number of people, participants that may be in an ordinance. You know, what if we're below that? What if I'm just out there by myself? You know, I cause an accident while I'm riding my bicycle. Where is there insurance for that somewhere? Bob, do you know?
That's a good question, because under an auto policy, there is exclusions for bicycles. It's just not a covered vehicle. So it would any coverage would go to a personal liability, which would be covered under a homeowner's policy. So that would be where your defense would be on that type of a situation. If you are in fact negligent, your your personal liability policy would cover. Now, on an organized basis, that would be different. It would probably be excluded under your homeowner's policy if your organization is sued because of one biker's negligence. That's where your special event policy that we were talking about earlier would come into play. I don't know if I'm answering your question, but it's fairly vague. I don't know of any circumstances where a bicyclist has been sued for negligence, but I'm just one person too.
Well, I'm just trying to understand who has insurance for what. We're talking about, you know, the issue here is liability. It's not whether you can ride the bicycle or